It didn't take long for fans to figure out the Pittsburgh Steelers' plan for defensive back Jalen Ramsey. When the Steelers made the surprise blockbuster trade for the former All-Pro cornerback, many wanted to know Mike Tomlin's intentions with Ramsey, as the Steelers have Joey Porter Jr. and signed veteran Darius Slay to a one-year, $10 million deal this offseason. After just one Steelers training camp practice, the answers are starting to unfold in front of us. Alex Kozara posted on X that Ramsey took first-team reps at slot cornerback, then moved to safety when the Steelers were in their 3-4 defense. Videos circulating around X after the Steelers' first practice seemed to confirm Ramsey's defensive alignment. Veteran wide receiver Robert Woods recently gave Ramsey an endorsement at safety ahead of Steelers camp. When Ramsey arrived at St. Vincent College in Latrobe for Steelers training camp on Wednesday, he was swarmed by media members, asking him what his role would be. Ramsey admitted that he had conversations about his expected role in the secondary, but wouldn't expand, instead telling the media that they'll find out together. Just one day later, it appears we already know what the plan for the veteran defensive back will be. And it's interesting. The Pittsburgh Steelers could be making a mistake with Jalen Ramsey at training camp. Though it's early in Steelers training camp, Mike Tomlin and Teryl Austin have already shown their hand for what fans can expect from Jalen Ramsey this year. Though his role is subject to change, this was likely the plan all along after the team sent Minkah Fitzpatrick packing. I'm thrilled to see Ramsey line up as a slot cornerback when the Steelers are in nickel. Ramsey has experience in this role, and his coverage chops and tackling ability make him an ideal nickel CB at this stage of his career. However, I wasn't so pleased to see Ramsey taking snaps at safety. Though Ramsey's presence would offer an upgrade at free safety over projected starter Juan Thornhill, his talents are better used as a cornerback. And quite frankly, cornerbacks are simply more valuable than safeties in today's NFL. In this modern era, most passes are a 3-step drop and the ball comes out. This means that the vast majority of plays are happening from 5 to 15 yards from the line of scrimmage. Though there's still value to a free safety that can roam and make plays deep down the field, cornerbacks hold more value with the quick passing game today. For this reason, I would have liked to see Ramsey in a slightly different role. Instead of lining up at free safety next to Deshaun Elliott as a last line of defense, I want to see Ramsey closer to the action. If the choice were up to me, I would make Ramsey a starting boundary cornerback when Pittsburgh is in its base defense, then have him move to slot CB when the Steelers are in nickel or dime sub-packages. This lineup admittedly creates two problems. It means that Thornhill is forced to be a full-time safety and veteran CB Darius Slay is forced off the field on base packages. However, Slay is 34 years old, and a break from time to time could do him some good. There's still plenty of time at Steelers training camp for Mike Tomlin and Teryl Austin to change their minds when it comes to the game plan for cornerback Jalen Ramsey. Wherever he plays this year, let's hope he's in a position to make a significant impact. Where exactly will the Pittsburgh Steelers have CB Jalen Ramsey line up? Will he be an outside corner, slot corner, or even play safety? Head coach Mike Tomlin said Wednesday that all three of Ramsey, Darius Slay and Joey Porter Jr. will be on the field at the same time. But Slay and Porter are both full-time outside corners. So, will Ramsey supplant second-year CB Beanie Bishop Jr. in the slot? Or will he play safety? Or some other combination? Well, we got our first glimpse of Jalen Ramsey lining up with the Steelers on Thursday in the team's first practice of training camp. He lined up as the nickel corner for the first snap of team drills. So, naturally, a reporter asked Tomlin at his post-practice press conference about reading into Ramsey taking that first snap as a nickel corner. "You're gonna do it anyway, so have at it, man," Tomlin said with a laugh per video from Steelers.com. "But get your cameras ready. You're gonna see him in a lot of places." And Tomlin was right. Ramsey did take that first snap at nickel corner. But once the team went into their base 3-4 formation, he was lined up as the deep safety. That was a major question a lot of people posed. Would Ramsey play any safety this year? Well, even back in 2021, Ramsey expressed a desire to play safety. And if the first practice of training camp holds any weight, Jalen Ramsey will get the chance to fulfill that desire. The Steelers seem serious about getting all three of their top corners on the field. Sometimes all three of them will be playing corner, and sometimes Ramsey might just be the free safety. Yeah, fans and media alike will need to keep their cameras at the ready to see just where Jalen Ramsey is playing in the Steelers' secondary. 1 month after stating on the Pat McAfee show that the 2025 season was likely his last in the NFL, Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback Aaron Rodgers sounded less certain Thursday following the first day of training camp in Latrobe. Asked if he was still going into the season thinking this will probably be the final season of his career, Rodgers offered an interesting answer, according to video on X via ESPN's Brooke Pryor. "Yeah, I might go into the season like that. I might not," Rodgers said of the 2025 season. Well, that's quite the turn of events with Rodgers. But it isn't all that surprising either. Coming off a 2024 season in which Rodgers seemingly found his game again late in the season with the Jets, he seems revitalized in the early portion of his tenure with the Steelers. He's playing for a head coach he respects a great deal in Mike Tomlin, and he has a strong relationship with receiver DK Metcalf. There's also the mutual respect and admiration with offensive coordinator Arthur Smith, and the relationship with quarterbacks coach Tom Arth that dates back to 2006 in Green Bay. While he's 41 years old, dealt with some personal issues off the field that led to his delay in signing, and got married this offseason, Rodgers just might be open to playing another season in 2026. Of course, it all depends on how he performs this season and how his body holds up from a health standpoint. Last season with the Jets and his return from a torn Achilles, Rodgers was banged up throughout the season, reportedly spending a ton of time in the trainer's room. He seems healthy now, though, and appears to be moving around much better than he has in recent years. Add in the fact that he's out of the New York spotlight and in a strong environment in Pittsburgh, it could extend his career, should he choose to. That said, he did state during the American Century Classic a few weeks ago that he was aiming to end his career the right way with the Steelers. Rodgers knew what he was doing with that comment about this being his final season. He's going to create a media firestorm with the comments, and his potential future will be talked about quite a bit moving forward, at least until something else takes over the media's attention. The Dallas Cowboys are currently participating in training camp in preparation for the upcoming 2025 NFL season. Dallas made a few splashy moves this offseason, including trading for wide receiver George Pickens, previously of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Recently, Pickens spoke after Cowboys practice and threw a bit of shade at his former team in the process. "I'm definitely excited to run better plays," Pickens said, per Josh Alper of NBC Sports Pro Football Talk. He also called his first practice with the Cowboys a breath of fresh air and said the combination of him and fellow Dallas wide receiver CeeDee Lamb will be something special. The man throwing passes to Pickens and Lamb will be Dak Prescott, who is coming off of a 2024-25 Cowboys season that was cut short due to a hamstring injury he sustained in an early November game against the Atlanta Falcons. However, when healthy, Prescott remains one of the better quarterbacks in the league and is certainly an upgrade over anyone Pickens caught passes from during his time with the Steelers. Can the Cowboys compete? One of the biggest unresolved issues for the Cowboys this offseason is the contract situation of Micah Parsons, which has become a theme for Jerry Jones in the front office over the last couple of offseasons, with Prescott and Lamb both also being involved in drawn-out sagas regarding potential extensions. While there's little doubt that Parsons and the Cowboys will eventually come to terms on a contract extension, the situation is adding a bit more angst than is probably necessary to the Dallas locker room as they prepare for the upcoming season. On paper, Dallas has a roster that is similar to the ones that made the playoffs for the first few years of the 2020s, but it remains to be seen whether they will be able to stay healthy and how much the improvement of other teams around them in the NFC East will factor into the equation. The Cowboys will take the field to open up the NFL season on September 4th on the road against the reigning Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles.